evening and welcome to the nighttime heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. This program is being relayed by Radio Get Geman in Nimakari, Radio Kwatika in Bon County, and of course Radio Wilogisi in Lofa County. We are streaming live as usual, streaming live on Prime FM Radio 105.5. Again, Prime FM Radio 105.5. We are also streaming live on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. That is the Nighttime Heat YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Please, we want you to watch the show tonight and listen to it as well. And if you are watching online, kindly share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. I know my panelists, Moses Sandy, George Kennedy, and Edwin Fambula will shortly be here. And of course, tonight we'll be receiving a new panelist, one of our colleagues. In fact, he has been in the media for quite a long while. He will also be joining us tonight. And I'm sure not only tonight, he has committed himself to always be on the program for us to discuss about our dear country, Mama Liberia. Let me just quickly what is coming up tonight. The four topics that we'll be looking at. What is the status of the production sharing contract between the government of Liberia and the Oriental Petroleum? You know, the senator of Bapuru, right? I hope I got it right. Amra Corner. He said, well, he wants the contract to be rejected, and of course, we'll be reading exactly what he said, the reasons he gave, and so we'll be discussing that. Whether you do agree with him, whether our panelists also do agree with him or not, and of course, today we'll be talking about the reporter shakeup at the Roberts International Airport. We are hearing about massive dismissals of the chief financial officer, the prosecutor, the top offices. The just recently confirmed out a massive dismissal. Nobody knows the reason why they're trying to get in contact. We'll discuss that tonight. Everyone can be at the ruling establishment. It's clean up exercise. It's party headquarters. We really don't. I will be asking. There was turn up, but what do you think about the turn up at the cleanup exercise? Does it send any signal ahead of 2029? Did you see, jubilant partisans, at the end of the party headquarters, who may have turned up to do cleanup exercise? Does it send any signal? Did you see any major turn up? We'll be talking about that also. And then finally, tonight, in Liberia, I want to ask the question, is the social media really being used for the purpose intended? Or is it being abused? We in Liberia sometimes we do our own differently from other countries. So we'll be asking tonight, are we really using the social media for the purpose intended, or are we abusing the use of the social media? We'll be talking about that tonight. So you're listening to the Nighttime Heat, that is shape of it. Just share the show. We want you to share tonight's show. It promises to be very, very interesting. My panelists all will shortly be here any moment from now. That's the shape of the show. And I know you are there already, listening online, and of course watching as well. If you're in the diaspora, I'm sure you can get us on our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat. If you're in the diaspora, or maybe you want to watch the show online using the Facebook, and you want to watch it on YouTube, just tap Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do so, you go to subscribe, and of course you watch the show online on your YouTube channel or your Facebook as well. So that's the shape of it. Don't go away. My panelists all will shortly be here so that we start the ball rolling. I'm sure they are coming in gradually. My panelists are coming in gradually. It seems that Edwin Molecular come on in studio. Molecular use the link to connect. But like I said, we have one of our new panelists, David Talbot. I'm sure you've heard about him before. He's been around for quite a long time. He's a trained and professional librarian journalist. He will be joining us, I'm sure, this time around every night. He'll be on the show with us as panelists for us to look at Mama Liberia. And of course, again, the issues we'll be looking at. What is the status of the production share contract between the government of Liberia and the Oriental Petroleum? You know, that deal is currently before the Senate, and of course, they are looking at it, doing their own due diligence. But some members of the Senate believe, the deal should not be passed; it should be rejected vehemently. And of course, like Amra Kone, he listed reasons for that. Moses is on. Let me welcome Moses quickly. Moses Sandy, welcome to the program quickly.
Thank you, Saba. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back. How you doing today?
I'm okay, Moses, and how the family?
Well, we tell a lot. Thank you. And hi, the family too.
Well, the family is okay, Moses. Our condolences still, because you are still bereaved. I'm sure you haven't yet done the burial, so we still pray for you and the family. We're hoping that God can console all of you, and whatever the situation, God can be able to handle it for you. Well, welcome to the program on this beautiful Monday. Let me welcome also George Kennedy. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Saba. Good evening. Good evening to the people of Liberia, and welcome to our new panelists. And also thank you to our technicians behind the scene and to our many listeners. Thank you, Saba.
Okay, George, thank you too for your commitment that you continue to demonstrate every time. And let me welcome one of our new panelists here, David Talbot. David, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Saba. It's always a pleasure.
I haven't heard the voice for long.
Yes, of course. It has been quite a long time.
Yeah,
I'm also glad to meet Kennedy. I've been following you guys for the past few weeks.
Thank you.
And so that I know how the show is handled.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, David. On this show, basically, we don't give all the praises to the government. Yes, if the government, did something positive, we're going to embrace the government and celebrate the government. But if the government went short of the expectation of the Liberian people, we also beat on the government. And this program will bring all sides to the table, not just those who support the government. We also bring people who don't support the government, because we want the discussion, the discourse to be balanced. Let everyone have his or her own share of the program, and that's what we do. But let me hear from you. I know you followed what we have already listed as the major discussion. What's also on your mind tonight? What they're trending on your mind? And let's see what we can talk about that first, and then later on go into the actual discussion.
Lots of things, but we will just talk about few. Now, one, the representative, Mama Briggs Mensah, was here the other time, and she discussed about this the bill at the legislature to try to remove some harmful practices that are done in our traditional circle.
Okay.
And the president had a meeting with the traditional people in Bond County. For the side attraction there, as journalists, we try to follow on the side what happened. We saw a report that, one of the new buses got stopped, and we saw students trying to push the bars, and we also saw students say, we want degrees, one day say, So that was something that, to see the students going there, and it was carried in the media that one of the buses broke down. Actually, it's stock, it didn't break down at the end of the day. And we also talking about a wave of accidents on the highway when it comes to motorcyclists. This morning, one of my colleague, workmate, tragically was killed while on his way to work. They were on the bike. Both of them got killed.
You live from
behind red light there. Yeah. Going to so I think we've said this thing. The issue of tricycles and motorcycles flying on the major streets. On the highways, pose high risks. Because some of the vehicles can be moving at high speed, and there's a need to do something about that. Even though the economy is still challenged, a lot of people still trying to find means to survive.
Yeah, okay.
I think let me hear about veteran journalist, veteran radio journalist David Tackler. I want to hear my senior brother talk more. I'm the print journalist among you guys. So
Yeah, no, that's good.
my voice may sound very different. You guys' voices are already very radio friendly.
Okay, let us your voice also is really friendly. Let us hear from you, Moses. Moses, what's been trending? You saw the video I sent you. Okay, so Moses, what has been trending from the end, apart from the full discussions we have?
Well, something that stood out to me, and I would rather like for you to play that video. I want also speak to the dishonesty of our people in Liberia.
Okay, let's try to play the video quickly to play the video. And so just hold on. Let's see if we can get a video to get a video on. Are you listening to the Nighttime Heat again? Kindly share the show. We just don't want you to listen. We want you to watch the show. We want you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow. Yes. Okay. Let's try to listen to the video quickly. What's that for you?
Hello, folks. Welcome. This is School TV, and we're coming to you live from Banga City, Bon County, this morning, where the president, His Excellency Joseph Boakai, the president is here to view the ongoing construction work here at the Presidential Palace here in Banga City, Bon County. As you can see, there are ongoing works, the refurbishment of the building. And the president is here to view the work so far that has been done on this building. So he's the chief engineer of this entire project.
Doing this outdoor fishing.
Okay, all right, okay. I think that's the point that Moses wanted to begin from. Moses, you listened to what the chief engineer said.
Yes, I did. And gentlemen, I am not an engineer. I have no idea in terms of construction, but I just want to be a rational being. You guys watch the video, you look at that building. Is it possible for construction work, renovation work on that building to be completed by December the 10th? We're talking about less than 3 weeks. I want all of you guys honestly watching that video to tell us whether it is doable. I want us to speak to the dishonesty of Liberians in the country. You look at someone who refers to himself as an engineer, literally lying to the president of the Republic of Liberia. It tells you the kind of society we have. Let me stop there and hear from you guys.
Okay, let me ask you. You saw the video. Do you agree with Moses?
Accept his generalization of Liberians. If you say some Liberians, I'm not there to teach him English, but I know that some Liberians are very dishonest. Anyway, I also agree with him that I don't want to leave. That for now until the building, so I don't know if they will fence that place or it will just remain open like that, because I didn't see them entering whether it's fenced. But looking at that where you say presidential palace, for it to be done from today the 24th?
Today, 24th, yeah.
24th, right?
Yeah.
To the 10th
Of December.
I don't think it is possible. I said when they deploy extra men, extra engineers, extra people, it's not because that work been going on for long. I thought in fact that project was completed.
So you do agree with Moses, but he's
Liberian.
Yeah, okay.
I want you to say something.
George, I accept your correction is absolutely right. Some Liberians are very dishonest.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know you just come in, but that's the format. We have to hear from the panelists what they do have on mind that I want to talk about, and then we can get into our actual discussion. Is there anything, Simon?
Yes, of course. Look, this is not unique to the broadcast government. All our presidents all the time, we say a few government officials are dismissed or suspended. And when these actions are taken by our presidents, the public is left in suspense as to why they are suspended or dismissed. And always administrative reasons. Why isn't it possible for the citizens to know why a person is suspended? For example, the issue of Steve Zago. Up to now, people are wondering why Steve Zago was dismissed or suspended. And so people, in the absence of such an information, people speculate or insinuate and give their own interpretations. So I think it's important when the president dismisses an official of government or suspends an official of government, the president should give, or the executive mansion should provide the reason why that person is suspended or dismissed.
Okay.
This is one of the things that I've been thinking of why don't our presidents always say why an official is suspended or dismissed?
Okay.
Another thing, Sabbath, is that I noticed that President Brockhouse suspensions, can at the end of the day result in dismissals, even though it can be announced. The only person that President Brockhouse has ever suspended but returned to the job was the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, David O'Brien, who was suspended and then returned to the force. But many of those that the president suspended, at the end of the day, at this suspension means temporarily go and sit down, and then after the investigation, you return to your position if you found guilty or if you're not found guilty. then you return to your job. But most of the people, they just suspended, and at the end of the day, they replaced. How can somebody be suspended and be replaced at the same time?
So you think the president is funding suspension?
So suspension now in Liberia is the definition of suspension, and in the broadcast government has turned to dismissal.
Okay, that's
That's my observation.
Moses, you listen to Table's concerns. Do you share his view or not? Moses? Okay, Moses is muted. You have to unmute yourself, Moses, then you can come back on. Yeah, let's hear from you, George.
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm here, sir.
Yeah, so
I'm listening to my brother Tagwe. David, it has been a while having the opportunity to talk to you. It's a pleasure to have you. The discussion we're having tonight is whether the gentleman was being honest or not. I know you raised some concern about why people need to be told when people are dismissed in government, but I would rather appreciate if you could just provide a little bit of clarity as to whether the gentleman was being honest with the president or not.
Oh, well, I didn't comment on that one. But in all fairness, look, I don't know what the engineer is. And most of us on the show, we're not engineers. He's the one in charge of the job. I think question is sincerity. He said that by the 10th of, did he say that the 10th?
Yes.
The 10th of December, the building would have been completed, right? The palace would have been completed. And the lawyer said it's the 10th. You can't prejudge him because he's an engineer. He knows what he's saying. And I don't want to sit down here and say, look, he's lying or he's being dishonest to the Liberian people or to the president. Let me say, he says that by the 10th of December, the presidential palace in Banga, right? In Banga County would have been completed. Let them see it and see what happens.
okay, so Moses, the issue Tablet raised is that he believes when people are dismissed, or suspended, there should be reasons for the suspension or dismissal of people. But unfortunately, since the Bwaka administration, came in, we are seeing the other way around. In fact, people are even being suspended, and in a few days they are replaced without a genuine, reason or no explanation as to why John Brown was suspended. Do you think, David Tambor concern is genuine?
Well, he has a legitimate concern, but unfortunately, the Constitution, Article 56, gives the president the right to hire and dismiss at will. He may choose to say, I dismiss Moses Sandy for administrative reason, and I choose to say nothing about it. He has that legal authority. We cannot compel him. What is happening is not unique to the Bwaka administration. We saw that Weah time. We saw that Salif time. We saw that the late Samuel Doe. People were dismissed for administrative reasons.
Let me ask. What is wrong? Moses. What is wrong with the executive mansion attributing a dismissal of the president to a reason? So no, John Brown's been suspended or dismissed for out of corruption or out of ineptitude. What is wrong with that? Then they say for administrative reason.
Okay, Lord, let me tell you, like where I live in the United States, yeah, if I'm terminated today and you call, say, Mr. Seni, does he still work for this company? They're going to say, well, we have parted way. And you ask why, they said, no, we can discuss, staff or employment status. Nothing you can do about that. So the president has that constitutional right. Employer can hire you, dismiss you, and they don't have to tell anybody why they dismiss you.
Okay. Yeah, let's hear from you.
I share Mr. Tadwe's concern when I wear my journalistic jacket, because journalists always seek
So these are the first.
You always want to know why. You always want to get a detail. But the law, on the other hand, says at will and pleasure. so because of the will and pleasure, the president could choose to say why or not. And, so that is where we are. It's a dilemma. In fact, some people being suspended term what the LACC, some of them have been cleared. Some of them didn't go back.
Let me come in. When you talk about someone is serving at the will and pleasure, I don't think it has any alignment with what Taga is talking about. You can appoint somebody or nominate somebody at your will and pleasure.
Yeah.
But let's assume the person committed some irregularity and you're going to get rid of them. It's what is wrong with announcing why they are being dismissed?
You can appoint at your will and pleasure and remove at your will and pleasure.
Nobody's happy. No, I'm telling you, nobody's happy that. I mean, nobody's questioning why the president should dismiss somebody or nominate somebody. But the point is, Taga is racing. Okay, granted, I'm coming. He said, yes, it is the will and pleasure of the president to appoint. But when the president is getting rid of somebody, that person might have committed some, out of some irregularities,
The person doesn't have to.
Okay, but then just say
The president can look at you today, the way the law is in that way, and say, look, I don't want you working my government.
Okay, but then you leave the public in suspense. I mean, that was what I'm saying.
I agree with him. That's why I said, journalistically and for the public good, it's good to say why. You got it clear? That's my point. I agree with him, but also the law.
So you as a president, you were brought in by the public.
Yeah.
So by the public, what can you do the appropriate thing?
So it's a very good element of good governance if you say why. And I think the president maybe he need some of the handlers around him. We would like to appeal to them to try. So at least probably you can say, oh, they're passing for investments, but the matter is not sufficient enough to take into court. Because we spend more money if we take the person to court than what the person told.
Because this government can have power on the natural transparency.
So
Is it transparent to dismiss somebody or suspend somebody without telling the reason why? Then the transparency question.
Actually, most of the suspension, frankly, to be honest, most of the suspension they have always said you suspended
For administrative reasons.
Report to the LACC, report to the GAC. We've heard that, but the outcomes are what people,
Okay, gentlemen, let's move forward. Let's move forward.
It's good to.
We saw a video earlier today. I found a video, unfortunately, it slipped my hands, about a guy who was being arrested by members of the Drugs Enforcement Agency, and the reporter on the scene was doing a commentary that it's linked to the office of the vice president, and the guy, I think, had gone, according to the report, this journalist said, to bribe the DEA for someone who he had arrested for drugs. So you want to do the bribery so the person can be released, according to the information. So right away, after a few hours, the vice president came up and did a post, indicating that he's not going to it's on. Okay, I'll welcome him later on. That will not support anybody or shield anybody who's involved with illegal drugs, and and he made the posts, and then later on the Group of 77 also came up with its own press statement. The administration of the Group of 77 wishes to provide a clear and unequivocal clarification regarding recent reports involving Mr. Clifford Palmer, Deputy Public Relations Director of the Group of 77. Mr. Palmer, who is currently undergoing investigation for alleged involvement in a suspected drug-related matter, is an employee of the Group of 77. The administration further underscores that the Office of the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia exercises statutory oversight over the Group of 77. This oversight is consistent with its supervisory responsibilities for several national programs and institutions. Okay, let me leave it at that. But my concern here is that the video came out about this guy. And this guy who works, understand, according to this press release, works with the group of 77. But the vice president didn't wait for this press release. Rather, he came out on his, and did a post trying to, I think, distance himself from this guy, and also vowing that anybody who's linked to him and involved with drugs, he's not going to support such person. Now, looking at that, Moses, let me hear from you guys. You see, the vice president was a bit hasty in coming out to distance himself from this guy when the gentleman works with the group of 77 that could come out to do a press statement. Yes, we know the group of 77 and the vice president has, got some authority over that group. But do you think he was a bit hasty? Instead of waiting for the group of 77, the institution the guy works for immediately came out to distance himself from what was being reported. Any of you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think, in fact, the office was very proactive because the video was live. I saw the live video. The individual was going live with a video. Mm-hmm. And so you see the government recognizes the fight against drug as one of their number one point of combating that menace in our society. So to see someone going live and saying that the vice president is linked and the vice president should wait until group of 77 comes.
No, they said this guy who was being arrested is linked.
It's linked to the vice president.
In the office of the vice president. Now, but the thing is, in a society where people are organized, institutions are organized, do you think it was proper, it was prudent for the vice president to have come up prior to the group of 77? Okay, you support that. Let's hear from
in all fairness, our society is a gullible society. Mm-hmm. Whatever people hear is what is wrong with. And in my view, I think the vice president, was quite clear responded because reacted to the video recording that was, I understand, the one viral, and the vice president, in his view, it thought that was the best thing to do because had he not come up immediately to have reacted that the gentleman or to distance himself from the gentleman, the interpretation perhaps in his view, looking at the gullibility of our society, it would have been different. People would have, interpreted their own way, and even linked the vice president to drugs business. So in his view, he thought that reacting immediately, was the best thing to do. But I agree with you that the vice president is supposed to have maybe paused a little and see what the group of 77s would have done over the So there's a possibility too that the group of 7 will not have immediately reacted or issued a press statement. Delay is dangerous. Had the group of 77 not issued a statement immediately, the vice president still kept quiet, that is, people would have wondered.
Let me ask you. The vice president oversees the group of 77.
Yeah.
What would have caused the vice president? I just called. Gentlemen, are you calling maybe the head of the group of 77? Are you seeing the video that's been circulated that's going viral? And a gentleman in your employer has been arrested, and he's by the DA, he's been investigated, and people trying to link me. Have you guys seen it? Don't you think it's quite instead of him coming out to first clarify and before the group of 77 coming up to do you think it has some what we see that the vice president was very hasty and it was it was from a great organization, the great office in the group of 77. Let me hear from Moses. Moses. Okay. It's off. Okay. Let me welcome Edwin Famula quickly. Edwin, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Starboy, and sorry to you guys that I couldn't make it to studio tonight. Good evening to my brother George Kennedy, and to my brother Moses. But I followed the disco, and I may be leaving maybe around 9:30 because I have other engagements or so. But I think the vice president, whom we know was very proactive today in trying to actually distance himself in his office, because if I also watched the video when the commotion was going on, the people who were there were trying to directly link the vice president office. They didn't say that this guy worked for the group of 77. They say, oh, he's an affiliate of the vice president. He worked for the vice president. So in that kind of information being shared, I think it's just proactive for the vice president to quickly react and say, no, even if this guy is related to me, if he's linked to me, he's not above the law. And I think it was a very strong statement from a leader to say, even if my wife or my children are involved, they will not be above the law. Now, the vice president does not directly control the group of 77. His wife is actually in charge of the group of 77. So by extension, yes, it actually falls under the second lady's office. So therefore, waiting for them to come up with a press statement or so, I think it would have been a little bit belated. But I think he did well. I think he did well to distance himself. Yes.
Let me ask you to have properly organized the release or the reaction. What would have cost the vice president if he had just caught his wife? Granted, like you said, if one has oversight over the group of 77, call the wife and tell that institution to release the reaction, then he come out before the group of 7. Don't you think that the entire way they did the reaction was not well organized?
No. I disagree with that. The statement itself did not create any harm. The statement just reinforced the government fight towards this malice in our country. And I think, like I said, the vice president was very proactive in coming up to condemn that act.
We are not linking it to the government. We are not talking about the government. We are talking about the way the vice president, the group of 77, came out separately and reacted to one situation. We are talking about how it should be organized. So let me hold you there and let me hold you there and let Moses come in, because I know you're not going to get the point we are talking about. Let me hold you there.
Well, look, I apologize, guys. I've been multitasking. That's why I was off. I got a little segment. Are you talking about the gentleman today that was arrested?
Yes.
Who claimed to come from the office of the vice president?
Surely.
Okay. Well, I think I agree with you. They needed to come as an institution. Whatever group this guy is associated with, the vice president is also associated with that. They should have done the background investigation, determine the authenticity of it, and come and speak as an institution. Oh, this man, yeah, you can't be speaking individually.
No. We talk about the same issue.
You got in there.
I'm coming. I know you on the other side. You're Edwin. You, Dave. We are talking about how.
We're not getting on your side.
No, we're not talking about getting on the other side. Dave, we are talking about how it should have been properly organized.
The first thing is the vice president's wife that has oversight over the group of 77. And in all fairness, any other person could interpret as a usurpation of the function of the second lady. because she's the person that has oversight over the group of 7, not the vice president.
Not the vice president.
So it's the second leader that should be coordinating that, working with a group of 7 to see how to put together the press statement to react to that statement. So if you look at it critically, the vice president, you saw the function of the second lady.
That's not a news is prominent. The name they were carrying today was not the first lady or the second lady. It was not even just group of 77. They were carrying the vice president, the most prominent person among them. So
in that press release, I'm coming. So in the press release from the office of the group of 77, it should have been clearly stated. We are talking about
clearly
stated that this gentleman does not work in the office of the vice president.
And the vice president.
Rather, you work with the group of 77.
No. That's what the statement said.
No.
That's what the statement said.
No. The statement doesn't say that. I read the statement.
The vice president's statement says so.
No, we are saying we are talking about the hasty manner. We are talking about the hasty manner in which the vice president came out with the reaction.
That reaction was very timely. Nature was new. That reaction was very timely in terms of news gathering and reporting. That reaction was very, very accurate. That reaction was well placed.
Simple reaction to an individual.
They are separate for the vice president does not do employment for group.
Simple reaction to just an issue.
Yes.
Simple reaction to an issue.
Yes.
You
asked me a question. Let me answer.
No, he said yes.
So simple reaction to a story that linked two offices. They didn't say the first lady or the second lady. They said the vice president.
We are saying, you are a journalist. You are don't come.
They didn't say the second lady. They link it away to the vice president.
Comrade, we are talking about the manner in which they reacted to a single story.
Fine. So that one coming. Do you want to listen?
No. You said already. You indicated that the vice president was right.
A group of 77.
Can I come in?
It's an institution created by the act of the legislature. They have their own employment system. This
So let me ask a question. Why you have called the vice president? The vice president is the second man in command. It is the second man in the country. Why you have called him? He have called his wife. Said that he went back oversight. So look, I'm seeing the video, and the video is linking me. Let's try to clarify it, but the reaction should come from the institution or the second
lady, and then the ones who have reacted and not the vice president, because the vice president oversight. If the vice president were to even comment on that situation, we should be the last person.
Thank you.
That would have made it more weighty. It is because the group of 77 issued a statement. The vice president has already spoken. Then the group of 77 came with a statement. That shows that was not coordinated. The first statement was not coordinated. The vice president office supposed to have coordinated his statement with the group of 77, or his wife or the second lady should have been the one to spearhead that particular reaction to that development, and not the vice president directly. If the vice president, it's not wrong for the vice president to have commented, but the vice president in my view should have been the last person to have spoken. That means group of 77 with the acquiescence of the second lady issued a press statement, and the vice president lastly speak on it to buttress that statement. Thank you. It would have given them more weight than the way it was handled.
In a disjointed manner. Okay.
And someone.
Yes, it's Slobo.
Someone, let me just say
Hello,
something if you mind. Yeah.
Yes, it's Slobo.
Okay.
What harm did the vice president's statement cause in the first place? Now, we actually not looking.
Let me tell you. No. You asked a question. Let me tell you. Thank you. the vice president first came out to clarify. And then the group of 77 came up to clarify the same issue. So, you say you want to ask one harm. What you've done there?
It was a clarification for the group of 77. It was direct dismissal.
No, it was a clarification. It was the group of 77 was indicating that this guy worked for them.
Yeah.
And also they were dismissing this guy.
Yeah.
So you are trying to create and trying to confuse the minds of the people. When you react to something in a more disjointed manner, instead of that, wait.
So let me come in now. So let me come in, right?
Question. You ask a question.
Slobo,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
you have laid your basis.
So
When the
I told
incident took place, when the incident took place today, that young man ID card was being displayed, trying to tie him to the office of the vice president, not even to the office of the group of 77. Hello, Slobo.
No, Edwin, we are telling you that granted. We all saw the video, we watched the video, we listened to the commentator. I mean, it's true that they were linking the vice president to it, but we are saying to you, fine, the fact that the vice president's wife has oversight of the group of 77, he should have just near to his wife and not to usurp the function of his wife.
No. He didn't usurp the function of his wife. What he did was to clarify that his office has no link with this gentleman. And secondly, whatever happens to be with this drugs issue, he 100% support the fight against drugs. He went to the extent of saying, even if my wife or my children are involved, it shows leadership.
Mr. Campbell, we're not talking about whether the vice president support the issue of drugs. All the government officials will support it. All of them will support it. So we're not talking about that. We are talking about the disjointed manner in which they reacted to this issue.
I don't think it was disjointed.
So we can move ahead.
Yeah, okay, so George, so this is what I would like to say. Like you said earlier, all the vice president needed to do, take the phone and call his wife. So what am I hearing? Who is this gentleman? Oh yeah, he works here with the group of 77 or whatever. Okay, could you guys please set the record straight? Coordinated with your people and they come with a unified statement. Look, this guy works for us. He has no connection with the office of the vice president. And we distance ourselves. As simple as that.
No, we are running. Thank you, Moses. We are running a government. We can be organized. There is some reason for which our police IG didn't carry a cameraman to serve you. They had to hold out their bricks, some colleagues belt or a trouser holding it back. We run a government. You know, when we see sometimes we say, oh, the land is against you. We are not against any form of government. No, we're not against the party. The point of the matter is that if things are done properly, like we said on the show, we'll promote it. Just last week we were talking about the budget, and we talked about we actually all of you guys praise the budget. We talk about the budget. Now, if the government slipped in somewhere, or any government parastatals slipped in the form, we have to beat on that. I see you, right?
No slipping.
No, it's a vice president wife that has oversight over the group of
Why you go missing is that the vice president's wife never accused. The vice president was
Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy.
So you are accused as an individual of linking yourself to something.
Mr. Kennedy.
Is it easier for you to respond?
Mr. Kennedy, we through with that.
Yeah, so please.
After transition, we tell you that. Yeah, we have to we through with that. That is Dr. Mara, we reacted to that. We through with that. Okay, so gentlemen, let's talk about what is the let's try to figure out the status of the production sharing contract between the government of Liberia and the Oremto Petroleum. We all know that the deal it's being debated at the Senate, and Abba Connect came up with a very strong position on that. Let me try to read this, and then we can talk about that quickly. Why the Senate must reject the production sharing contracts between the government of Liberia and Oriental Petroleum. If you followed yesterday's hearing on the Oriental Petroleum and Total Energies production sharing agreement, you will realize it raised more questions than answers for the Liberian Senate. The key witnesses who negotiated the Oriental deal could not answer key questions about the very contracts they negotiated. Back in 2007, Oriental acquired offshore oil blocks in Liberia but never drilled a single exploration well. Instead, they sold those rights to Chevron, earning over $100 million in profit. Liberia was left with nothing, no drilling, no jobs, no development of our national infrastructure. Some Liberians who worked with Oriental say they were never paid. Now, after abandoning Liberia once, Oriental has returned asking us to trust them again. The signature bonuses touted by the executive branch are at best a misleading measure of oil companies' true strength and commitment. Under the current contract, Oriental will pay these bonuses in installments over 4 to 5 years, not up front. But Oriental is going to pay bonuses over 4 to 5 years, not up front. According to Amra Kone, Oriental and its parent company, Atlas Petroleum, have a disturbing track record across Africa. In Uganda, Atlas was awarded the Agassi block in 2007, but never drilled a well or built infrastructure. After nearly a decade of inactivity, Uganda cancelled the license. In Senegal, Oriental holds the St. Louis offshore profound block, but has conducted no meaningful exploration. Similarly, in Equatorial Guinea, the pattern persists. Long period without drilling, before any drilling work. Okay, let me move on. Our neighbor Sierra Leone faced a similar problem. Just last week, it cancelled Innocent oil and gas exploration license, a company akin to Oriental for failing to meet commitments. Sierra Leone made it clear no more holding valuable national assets without developing them. Liberia must learn from this and avoid deals with companies lacking a credible track record. Adding to our concerns, the fiscal terms of the new agreement are troubling. The advertised signature bonus is US $3.75 million per block, totaling $50 million for 4 blocks. But the contract says Oriental only needs to pay $1.25 million per block without 120 days of ratification. The remaining $10 million has no fixed deadline. It's tied to seismic work that experts believe may not happen for years. all these issues, the long history of non-performance, failed commitments across Africa, weak fiscal terms, and the lack of credible financial guarantees point to the clear conclusion Liberia cannot afford this deal. The only option is to reject it and demand companies that can actually deliver. General, that have our comments position on Orenco. So let me hear from Edwin Formula. You've been in the gas, oil and gas industry. You listen to reasons why reasons AMRA provided for which our country should reject Orenco. Well, let's hear your takeaway first.
First of all, let me say this. I think bulk of the senators do not understand how the sector works. And for me, I'll be very blunt because I followed the hearings. I was at the Capitol building the last time, and as we speak, I have the Orenco contract before me. I have reviewed the contract. I have seen some of the issues that they are raising, and these are not issues. Now, first of all, if Senator Amara Conner having issues with the signature bonus, right? Is that an outright reason to cancel a contract? Now, many of these smaller oil companies, the likes of Oronto, the likes of African Petroleum, the likes of the Innocent that just came into the oil and gas sector, they are not super majors. These are smaller companies that front for the bigger companies. Now, it is a normal practice in the sector wherein these smaller companies go and negotiate, take these blocks, go and see if they can entice those big guys to come and drill. Because first of all, even the drilling aspect, sometimes it is not even the super majors that are directly drilling. They are private company. Do they have the financial capability to be able to drill? Yes. There's no question about it. He also talks about blocks that were taken away from these guys. Yes, that is the normal. It is a normal practice. If you sign a PSC with a company, you have an expiration period. Some countries, the regime run from 1 year to 7 years. Some this current Oronto contract, the expiration period is 10 years, and within those different periods, you have to perform. There is a specific program that you're supposed to carry on. If you don't carry on these programs, it is the right of the state to take away the assets from you, which is the block. So it's almost like what you're doing, you're leasing something. And one thing we have to realize, between 2007 to 2016, the reason why we have all of this peak in the oil and gas sector, it was because of few smaller companies taking the risks, coming to spend money and go out there to be able to attract the big guys to come into our bases. We are not the only country that actually looking for oil companies to come to us. There are countries that already made discoveries: Ghana, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea. These people have history of discovering commercial oil quantity. So you think instead of Chevron coming to Liberia to come and spend money, you don't want to go to places that is already considered as brownfield? So
okay, so let me hold you there a bit, Edwin. Listening to Senator Amara Conner's read-up, he's not really concerned about the technical bonus.
Yeah.
He's also concerned about the non-performance of Orenco. Orenco was here before, in around 2007. People worked for Orenco. Unfortunately, they didn't even get paid. Orenco could not drill. They could not even perform. It had to sell the block to Chevron. So 100 million. So what is the essence of us giving Orenco again another credence where Orenco came initially and Orenco did? So that's one of his points. Speak to that.
So like I said, it's a normal process in the industry, right? Wherein the smaller company comes, get this block, because they are the ones that have the relationship to the bigger guys, the super majors, the Chevron, the ExxonMobil, the Anadarko or so. These are the guys that actually come to sometimes front. Because take for example, Chevron operation budget last year was $16 billion.
Edwin, the issue of fronting. Come in, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Sandy. We are not concerned about fronting now. We are concerned if you've come to the blocks, you should be able to perform. People that will work for you, that you will have to do training, all of that, you should be able to pay them. But Orenco doesn't have that record.
But then it's a different case because Chevron came and Chevron did perform on behalf of Orenco. Chevron drill wells.
Okay, let's go there.
I was in North at that point in time. If the argument is that they didn't drill a well, they framed out to Chevron and Chevron came and drilled. Chevron didn't make discovery and Chevron left.
Let's go there. And Moses, you want to come in?
Yes, I just want to say this quickly. The current debate, the red flag that it raises is that people who are hired to manage these key sectors, this raises concern about their ability, whether they are doing what is required of them. Before such bill is even introduced in the House, my assumption would be that these people would have done their due diligence. You have a company that has no history of exploration. You have a company that has a terrible record in Africa, a history of dishonesty, a history of non-payment, a history of mistreatment of people that work for the same company. And you want to tell us that we should go into a concession agreement with such company, Mr. Family?
Well, let me say this, Moses. If you are alleging all of these things and you don't understand how the industry works,
no, I'm not alleging. It is why it's in the public domain. I'm not alleging.
Okay,
it is why in the public domain.
Bossman are coming now. In fact, first of all, we are not even getting the number right. Amarakone wrote and say 100 million. The last time Senator Magate said 200 million. The other person said 150 million. But like I said, it's a normal process in the industry. Listen, please, listen. And like I said, I'm schooled in this industry. So I have some level of understanding. When I speak, please give me a chance to speak. If you're speaking on something that has to do with your field, I will give you a chance. Now, prior to African Petroleum coming to Liberia, there was nothing new about the Liberian oil and gas sector. That's one thing that we need to know. We started drilling in the late 70s, and the whole thing about the oil and gas sector went into zero up to 2000. But by 2006, 2007, Oronto came to Liberia and took the rigs along with a company called African Petroleum, owned by a guy called Frank Timmins. African Petroleum and Oronto decided to say, let's go and see if we can resuscitate the Liberian oil basin. He came, he spent XYZ amount of money. He went out there and said, look, we think that there is something important here in this basin. Let's see if we can attract the super majors to come and assist. They framed out to Chevron. They didn't do no wrong. First of all, why they didn't do any wrong? Because they took a risk. The oil and gas sector is a very serious risk that oil companies take. Chevron went and paid XYZ amount of money to them. At that time, we never had no safeguard in our laws. All right? Now, what we're saying now, because we've learned from those mistakes, this current contract has a safeguard. So say whenever you're going to frame out whatever profit you made, Liberia will get certain percentage because we've learned from our mistake. It is in the contract. People talking about capability issue. The contract spelled out exploration period. It's almost like
let me hold you there, Edwin. Let me read this portion of American letter. Adding to our concerns, the fiscal terms of the new agreement are troubling. The fiscal terms, the FISCAL terms are troubling. The advertised signature bonus is 3.75 million per block, totaling 15 million for 4 blocks. But the contract says a rental only needs to pay 1.25 million per block within 120 days of rectification. The remaining 10 million has no fixed deadline. Isn't this a major concern?
No, it is not. And let me tell you why. And that's why I said, if this is the issue, does this call for rejection of the contract? No. So what you need to do as a legislature, what you need to do is to make sure to call the person, look, we have not seen this portion as to when the balance money is going to be paid. Can you explain to us where it is? But when you come out and say, look, let our relate, first of all, signature bonus are free money for you. You know, let's try to get this thing straight. All of the money that Oronto and other oil companies are going to spend here for exploration, if they don't find oil, that's free money. Nobody pays back. Chevron, Anadarko, Exxon, they spent almost $1 billion in Liberia. They did not make a find. They packed their bag and left and turned over all of the blacks.
So
I'm talking about today. We still have them.
I'm coming. Let's not continue with you yet. We'll come back. Now, secondly, AMRA is raising some concerns. Orento was here since 2007. I mean, in 2007 it came. There were individuals, Liberians, who worked with them. Unfortunately, those Liberians are not paid or were not paid.
That according to him.
I know that according to him.
Yeah.
Every I know that your person you like that. Isn't that a major concern? Let's hear from you.
It is, if that's what happened. Mm-hmm. But I'm finding it difficult to understand if Chevron bought Oranto's investment in Liberia and did not take the liabilities. That liability include labor costs and other things, the staff that were with Oranto. So I'm finding it.
Chevron didn't pay it. No, Chevron didn't pay it.
Okay,
so to know that. Chevron didn't pay.
So most of the agreements that in business, when you buy this institution, the workforce issue for that institution will always be one of the cardinal issues that will be discussed because it's part of the liabilities of that institution. The debt the institution owes. Other institutions will all be discussed. If they were not done well, I don't know because I don't have idea on that. Minister Senator Connell now, then he was the Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs, Republic of Liberia. So I don't know why he saw that at that time. But actually, what really people thinking about is the suspicion that Chevron and Oranto came to Liberia, got the oil plant for small money, and sold it for big money. That's a simple business practice. There was no safeguard in the agreement.
No performance.
I don't call it no performance.
How you call it?
It hurts me. But if you look at business law, if you look at business practice, then every business that went for profit. At that time, our country was closed. And so people are looking for investor to come around.
But you have to remember that profit sharing is also a crime.
Business. Yes, but Mario, international business this is not profit sharing. This is not profit sharing. I mean, gentlemen, what the people did,
Mr. Kennedy. And the problem is that these people were here before.
Yeah.
Now that's the way.
No, that's the
if you say they didn't do much, then yes, if you said they didn't do much, then you have not followed this industry. Now, like I said to you, These super majors, right? The big oil companies, they don't just take that money and go dash it in countries for free. Somebody has to market to them, people who they trust. All right? Let me tell you the thing that happened to Sierra Leone. The same politics that we're playing here today, because like I said, I follow this industry because that's where I'm educated in. There was a company called Petrobras. Petrobras was going to Sierra Leone to start, the same stuff. And then there was this whole politics in the parliament. Oh, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do this. At the end of the day, the board of Petrobras said, but look, why do we have to go in there? They have no hatred of major fines. And then they're trying to put all of this politics in front of the fighting the Green Rising. These companies take risks. Like I said, the statutory bonus are free money. All right? The drilling that they are doing is almost free money because there is a 99.9% chance that they may not find oil. Every day that a rig stay on the ocean here, it costs $1 million. That's why it costs these oil companies $1 million US. Do Liberia have the money to do that? In the next 100 years, we'll never do that. So these guys have to take the risks when they come. When you make a fine, when you now become a brown field, then you can now start looking at trying to be somehow difficult. But you have not made no fine. You're trying to start pushing all the politics, all the did this. I'm not saying that what Toronto did to get a windfall profit, it was a good idea. But at that time, we did not understand the sector. At that time, we have not gone to get education to come back and say, look, let's safeguard our laws in a way that when you guys come, because what we're doing, we even listen. We're not studying these blocks. We are listening to these companies for a specific period of time.
Let's read it. Let's read it. We have to go around the table. Generally, we listen to reasons why, some Amara doesn't want that contract that deal to be accepted. We all know the history of Orenco. They were here before. They couldn't. They saw the blocks that they got. So to Chevron made more money out of our resources. We didn't benefit anything. Now,
resources.
I told you to be quiet. Now, concerning because I know you're fighting for Orenco.
Chief, I beg you. I don't know nobody Orenco, please. I know nobody there.
And someone, yeah. Now, my best guess is that issue of Orenco before this arriving at the Senate came from somewhere, and that somewhere should be the executive mansion, right? So I believe the executive mansion must have carefully evaluated the contract or the agreement before forwarding it to the national legislature, because had it not been the case, it wouldn't have reached the national legislature, right? And I think the concern here of Amara Kone is looking at the Orenco's past. But here we are, like Kennedy said initially, he said something about the journalistic, you put on the journalistic shoes. But let's look at it. Let's sincerely look at it. I haven't heard since this argument started, I haven't heard any official of Orenco saying something. I mean, to provide some clarification. What all we're hearing is people are saying Orenco did this, Orenco did not do this. But has Orenco is spoken on this matter to get aside? Every story has two sides. We have this, as far as I'm concerned, this is one side of the story we're hearing from Amara Kone and others, that Orenco in the past failed, did not perform, did not pay staff, sold our block to Chevron and took huge sums of money, by selling that block, profiteering, all these things, as far as I'm concerned, they're one-sided. Until we can listen to Orenco, the matter can easily being analyzed.
Let's
We haven't heard the side of the rental.
Let's assume that the one-sided story you are making reference to turned out to be genuine. What happened? We should reject the rental, right?
If it is thoroughly investigated and they determined, and that a rental actually did fail in the past, that a rental did not perform in the past following a thorough investigation or a look into the matter, technical analysis of rental performance. For example, some of the articles I've read about rental, they make references to other countries where the rental performed dismally. Similarly, in Liberia, in Senegal, these are countries who heard about a rental operated and they did not perform well. These are what we're hearing. But where investigating. So what I'm caught up is that Osabo, I haven't heard anything from the rental side to compare the
because the rental has no social
but that's not how it works.
Yes, so let me say something quickly. This is what I would like to say. Mr. Tagbe, unfortunately, Orento has chosen not to speak. If Orento has chosen not to speak, then that's Orento's business. Orento,
they cannot speak because they have a consultant before the legislature. They can't speak.
Where Mr. Famule, don't tell me that if you are in a business transaction and someone is trying to misrepresent the truth about what you do, who you are as an entity, your communication people will just sit back and don't say nothing.
So let me educate you on that.
Mr. Famule, let me complete my thoughts. So I'm saying is that Orento has an obligation to clearly speak on this matter, because if people are misrepresenting your company, you have the right to go public. You can remain quiet. You have lawmakers coming and making claims, and you say nothing, and you're telling me say that's okay. How do you convince the public that you are not what people are saying?
Yeah.
So Slobo, let me just come in. So the legislature, now that is hearing this agreement, that's why they are not calling any of these companies, because NOCAL and the regulatory authority, which is LPRA, represent these people at this stage of the engagement. Mind you, NOCAL is the state oil company. NOCAL is a state oil company that's going to work along with Toronto. So whatever share the Republic of Liberia has in this Toronto and Total deal, the representation is NOCAL. Now, when the contract is signed, once the contract passes down, that's why there is something in the law called Joint Operation Committee that will comprise the private oil company and the national oil company. So when you see the legislature are not calling the Total guys to come to Monrovia or the guys from Toronto, it is because of the way the law is structured. So the state oil company, which is NOCAL, will have to be the one to answer these questions during this process. That's how it works. Everywhere it works.
General, we'll have to transition, but let me just take David.
Let me just provide the information quickly. Just recently, the guys from NOCAL were at the Senate.
I was there.
The guys from NOCAL were at the Senate, and some of these very questions that we're talking about, were all raised by the senators. And the guys from NOCAL were unable to provide the needed clarifications.
They are providing 17 years ago. You think the guys were in your car?
Anyway, let me hold you there, and let me hold you there, Mr. Sandy. Let's hear from David Koti, because we have to transition and go to our next discussion. Yeah, Mr. Koti, let's hear from you quickly.
Thank you, sir. I'm in and out Canada, so thank you for giving me the opportunity. Mm-hmm. Now, we have a parable in Liberia which says, only cow owners talk cow matter. when the township is calling for a meeting of cow owners, if you know you don't even own Billy Goat, don't go there. I'm supposed to say that Mr. Fambula is cool in this area. He is educating, or it's not because one senator called American or whoever said what, we must just go by it. No. This man is educating us right now. If I understand that there's a provision in the contract, I don't know the main portion, I will have to get that contract and read through it.
Yeah.
The contract that until by the time oil is found in Liberia, then a new deal will be done where the government is going to benefit from a lot of things. But until now, it is just money that is spending all over here. Mr. Fambula just said something that I know about. $1 million every day just for these people being on the sea. Who pays that money? They are paying it. It's not coming from me. But by the time they find oil, then a new deal will be done where the government will benefit now from this and from that. But until oil is found, all the money is finished for them.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we should do a due diligence. But then the cow owners talk cow matter.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cody. Thank you very much. You need to point that. Gentlemen, we have to transition quickly. Let's go to our next discussion. I'm enjoying the debate. Let's go to our next discussion quickly. Okay, gentlemen, we heard about some shakeup at the Roberts International Airport. And let's try to read what we have from the institution that's carrying this story. That's the Liberia Latest News TV. A report said a fresh storm is brewing at the Roberts International Airport, the RIA, after the newly appointed managing director, Ernest Hodges, confirmed just weeks ago, reportedly dismissed nearly 10 key personnel on his very first day in office. According to internal sources, the MD convened an impromptu staff meeting where he immediately ordered the removal of senior staff, including the chief financial officer, accountant, deputies, and others in the financial department. In addition, getting feedback.
Yeah, feedback.
Colin mute, Moses or Edwin, Colin mute. Okay, so in addition, critical positions such as the human resource manager, procurement director, and the chief of staff in the MD's office were all allegedly replaced. What is drawing even sharper public attention is that several of those brought in to occupy these roles are reportedly not employees of the RIA, raising further questions about transparency and motive. The speed and scale of these decisions are raising eyebrows across the institution. Sector analysts and staff alike are voicing deep concerns. Why would a newly seated managing director rush to dismantle such sensitive departments? Positions like HR, procurement, and finance are the backbones of accountability, making abrupt changes in these areas suspicious to many. Gentlemen, let me leave you there. That's the latest. I'm sure some of us might have read this. Dave, let me begin with you on this. What's your takeaway? What's your own analysis?
Well, my takeaway is from the decisions he took, from what you've just read, almost like he went to the entity with a mindset. Because had it not been the case, he wouldn't have been that quick to have started dismissing people or removing people and replacing them. The impression he has created that he went there with a mindset, with a plan to do something, most especially in the government, that underscores the word transparency. And if you were appointed and the first day you took office, you started making changes, that means you went there with a mindset. But the other thing is that, why was the president so listed to have just dismissed him? I mean, why couldn't for the president's office do some investigation? When have you taken these decisions? Have you suspected something of those you met there? I mean, just immediately dismissing the guy, I mean, without maybe giving him maybe the due process.
We didn't hear he was dismissed.
You just read.
No, you heard he was dismissed?
No.
When he dismissed people,
He dismissed people. If he dismissed people, then they see him. Then they go for mindset. Why are you moving the people that represent your own people? You haven't worked with them yet. You met them there. They should show you the way. Then you met them in the ground. These are people you should be working with to show you. I mean, I don't think he has ever worked at the RIA or led the management team of the RIA. He just appointed it. But when they first of all, you got to be seated, get acquainted with the environment, the people that you're working with, and try to maybe, get out people who you think are not competent or qualified for the positions they occupied after your own thorough evaluation of the staff you met that. But having done that, you just, it creates a lot of suspicion.
okay.
Let me just gonna be, because I will soon be leaving again to go and join another show, so we can be able to educate our people on the oil and gas sector. I know Mr. Ennis very well.
Yes. So you are on the place. Providing education and supporting Oriental.
No, come on, man. I don't know. I don't know anybody from Toronto. I've never spoken to anybody. But I think as somebody who is educated in this sector, I'm on obligations. And I can say, I was educated by the state. I was sent to by NOCAD. So I'm on an obligation to educate the people into this sector. But having said that, I know Mr. Ernest Hughes very well. He's my former boss at the LEC, and I know the kind of man he is when it comes to want to reform. He's a goal-oriented person, but sometimes people go overboard to do some of these things. I think there are processes involved if you want to transition people, if you want to do X, Y, Z. And if those processes are not followed, sometimes it leads to people having recourse to the law, because not because you are managing director, so you can just step in and dismiss people. Everything that if people are not performing based on X, Y, Z, or you want to make reform, you can transfer them to other department. You can put them somewhere. You can do some checkups. But if you're just going to outrightly dismiss them, it's against the labor law, and they have recourse to the law. Having said that, I beg to leave because I will have to, go and again assist other people to understand this whole thing.
Thank you for your insightful comments. Thank you for your contribution. We'll see you on Wednesday by God's grace.
And so let me just say something on that quickly. I will come from a different angle. If I were the president of the Republic of Liberia, that man will be out of job today. And I would dismiss you immediately. Because nobody, I think it is very unwise, it is stupid that you take over an entity. You don't even know the entity. You don't know these people. You come in day one and you begin to make changes. What is the reliance? On what basis are you making these changes? On what basis did you choose to dismiss people? Whenever you take over an entity as a manager, the first thing you want to do is to begin to do your own assessment of the various departments. The various department, the personnel, the responsibility. You need to have a better grasp of that. Then you begin to call people in when you notice that there are lapses. When there are lapses, you get people warning letters that, hey, this is what we noticed. We need you to do this, and you begin to document before you begin to dismiss or make or reassign. You don't walk in day one and start terminating people. If I were the president of the Republic of Liberia, that man will have no job in my government.
Okay. Josh, what's your opinion?
Thank God it's not your business. So, so really, everyone has said it. I think it is not a good thing. I would like to say negative, premeditated minds.
Yeah.
Some people can go to some places with positive. You say, I'm going to transform. I don't know anybody, but I'm going there to go make sure that this institution is better, right? And you go there, do the necessary reform, and turn that institution around to be better. Your minds were premeditated, are going to do something there. But to go and just remove people from their position like that, I don't really know clearly if the information is true. If it is, I think it's wrong. I think the entity will be losing a lot of money to those people, and he may be very embarrassed if all goes to the court and other things, fight open and other things. Look, I told people at the time you had a chance to remove people when you took over newly, and you had a little window, but this time now, government has paid these people almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So you come and just want to remove it, it can sometimes be very difficult. I said whether they've gone wrong based on performance issue, based on character issue like theft and other things. So you just have to, you can shift people, you get a right to shift people around. Somebody can make HR here today, maybe not certify their performance, you can shift them into different departments. But to just go and fire, I'm not a fan of that. I can't say that I'm in support of that really.
Okay, so that's the situation allegedly at the RRA. We tried getting the contact of the new managing director. Unfortunately, we couldn't. We got the contact of the communication guy. We understand he has traveled. He's not in country, so unfortunately, we couldn't get a contact. But like all of you said, I think if that's the reality of what had happened, I think the guy went there with a preconceived mind. You can't just go in a place you don't know the capacity of the people. Just go and remove people from offices. It's troubling. And at the end of the day, they don't know. These things have reflection on the government, on the party. So when our people in government, especially those who are close to the president, when they hear these things, they need to just maybe speaking to the president, say, yes, Mr. President, there's something happening. Let's try to call this guy to ask him whether it's true, really something that he has done. Because some of the actions that they heard of the entities take, and those actions have serious adverse effect on the popularity of the institution. And this is a government that's looking out for 2029. You can go to a place and just dismiss people at will because you see you have the power, the person has given you the power. And can you imagine, according to the write-up, he did the shake-up or the dismissal of those individuals just on the first day he entered office. How can you do that? So hoping that the president's people can look into that quickly. Now, gentlemen, a transition. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat. Again, you want to watch the show online and share the show. We are streaming live on Prom FM Monrovia 105.5, and we are also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Gentlemen, we saw the Unity Party over the weekend carry out major cleanup exercise. We saw some of the partisans at the party headquarters where they used to be and where they were booted out. And then after 6 years, it came back to power and managed to galvanize and went back to where it came from. We saw cleanup ongoing there. But given the crowd and what you saw, also what you heard online, David, let me begin with you. Was there any signal of major message ahead of 2029? Why did we see? Considering the size of individuals who saw there.
Well, the first thing is that 2029 is about 4 years from now. Mm-hmm. So when I hear people talking about 2029, to me it's premature to start talking about 2029 now. Mm-hmm. Because the fact of the matter is that you should be years ahead of 2029. So I think what we should be talking about here is that
let me just do some adjustment. Okay. If you look at the 6 years of our government or our government structure.
Okay.
The first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth year. That's the only year the government has.
Yes, of course.
2028, nothing absolute government can do. It's political year. 2029, election. So it's not far. It's still close to us here.
Okay.
The government will be entering the third year by next year.
Okay. You are the captain of the ship. So, but the first thing is that look, the issue of crowd is not a strange thing in our politicking. You know, perhaps not only that is not unique to Nigeria. The issue of crowd, you know, we've seen crowds, and sometimes the crowd don't translate into votes because in recent years we've seen crowds, and at the end of the day, you know, the crowd did not translate to the required votes that a particular party needed to win. So the issue of the crowd is, to me, it's just about enthusiasm. The partisans are enthusiastic, love for party, wanting to be part of a process and exercise in the best interest of the party. So the Unity Party, they were already occupied that particular space before. They were kicked out of there for one reason or the other, and they returned it. Returning home, you know, it generated some level of anxiety, you know, that excitement, that enthusiasm. So all of them, you know, they started to be part of that kind of exercise to get the place to face.
Did you see the crowd? You saw any sizable crowd?
Well, I saw the crowd. It was a cleanup campaign, but yet and still the crowd was overwhelming and impressive. The fact that many of the partisans can show up just for a cleanup campaign and the whole place was almost filled with partisans. I mean, that was a demonstration of love for party. You know, to me, they were just enthusiastic and the turnout. That also the message that it did deliver is that the Unity Party is intact. The partisans are enthusiastic about even winning the election of 2020 now we're talking about. And it was that show of, you know, power, that show of popularity, that show of loyalty that the partisans you might really demonstrate.
Let me read it. Let's hear from you, Edwin.
I didn't go there, and I want to say that what I saw was, as Mr. Tabet said, for every word that he said, is what happened that day. I wouldn't want to repeat everything that he said because it would be like making the show. But the momentum, so in fact, still on social media, the build-up that started to that day and what it is leading to the December 6th, it could even be more because December 6th is not because it's not clean up. It's homecoming. So you may see.
So what we saw could be bigger than what.
Yeah, December 6th will be bigger.
Okay. Let me go here. It's not. What sort of message does that send ahead of 2020?
It is saying the message that yes, the government we brought is performing, and so we are proud to show our faces or to tell you that, you know, we told you to give us the country and we're going to govern it well, and you're seeing what is happening, and more other developments going to happen. So
okay.
And somewhat, another thing I'd like to add. Quite recently, they noticed the groundbreaking ceremony of the CDC.
Yeah.
We saw the mammoth crowd of clinicians. Similarly, the Unity Party showed up to clean up and saw the mammoth crowd. So, to me, the crowd contest or crowd competition does not decide who wins a particular election. I think it's a government's or a party-run government's deliverable how is governing the country, what impact, what is it doing to change the lives of the people? Is the government's achievement trickling down to the lives of the people? They say that what matters.
Okay.
Not crowd.
Moses, let's hear from you. Your takeaway.
Yeah, this is what I would like to say. Having listened to George and Mr. Tagbe, it will be foolhardy for anyone to say, "Oh well," because it's all fullness of people. It means that you are doing well with a political party, or it means that you have a political strength. No, there are several factors. You have to look at the society. We have extreme poverty back home. Some people went to that place because what? Somebody were offering what, free t-shirts. Some people went to that place because there was free food. Some people went to that place. Someone told them, say, hey, come, we will provide transportation. There are several other things that you have to consider. And studies have shown that a crowd size does not in any way translate into votes. Take, for example, 2023. Everywhere the CDC went, you have what? A mammoth crowd. And then at the end, what happened? The CDC lost. So let us not judge the strength of a political party, the performance of a government, only because we see a group of people, in the public. No. Don't let that deceive you. Focus on what you are doing. That is what I would like to say.
And you have to realize that this is not unique to Liberia. Throughout the world, whenever the political party calls a campaign, maybe the cleanup campaign or whatever political campaign, you see a huge crowd.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that people in the crowd are hungry or they're broke and they just want to hustle. And that's why they've turned out. People turn out because of their loyalty. They have to their party.
I react to what
So let me correct something here. Let me correct something quickly, guys. And let us not make this debatable. You guys are on the ground. A good number of our people show up because of what? The material gain.
I think that's
The
assumption.
material gain.
That's complete assumption.
Free t-shirts.
Most
Free t-shirts.
are assuming. I think that's an assumption.
Do you know about it?
No,
The party.
that is not an assumption. That is based on facts. This is based on facts. You live in the country. People go to these places. They're dishing out t-shirts. They're giving free food. They're providing transportation. What are you talking about?
So, Moses, that is an assumption that people went to that party headquarters primarily because they want t-shirt or they want food. I can remember, I didn't hear anything or see anything on the social media. They got a hotel carry live. And the next year where food was cooked and people were served food. And the next year where people were getting free t-shirts. T-shirts were printed and I understand they were paid for.
Okay.
And some
All right,
were
so
paid.
David,
So let's get back.
Yeah, that's the opinion of
Moses.
Of Moses.
Yeah.
You have yours, and likewise, and Mr. Kennedy. Now let's go to the B2B discussion. This is a party that led the country for 12 unbroken years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Under former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and then later on, during that time, we have the current president now as the vice president at the time. Unfortunately, they were booted out of that place. 2 years in office, they've acquired the land already. Because if they didn't acquire it, we are going to do cleanup. 2 years, a party that was 12 years, a party that was extremely broke and could not, in fact, afford its own headquarters. Today, in 2 years, the party had gone to. Is that suspicious out of public funds being used or out of fees? Funds from partisans. So let's hear from you.
You want to hear from me? Well, it depends on who talking about that. But in fairness, the Unity Party is in government. It has employed people, partisans, and all unemployed. The partisans must have been tasked that gentleman with a whom
To pay for that fruit.
Give me a chance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Quite frankly, it depends on who is speaking on that. But in my view, you have two school of thoughts. Some will say, look, I mean, it's suspicious that how come you didn't have money yesterday, and to retain that party headquarters, you were voted out because of money matters. In less than 2 years, or in less than 3 years, you're taking power, and you've now gone to that party. Where did the money come from? People tell you, say that we've taxed our partisans. It's something we planned even before we came to power. You remember the similar concerns were raised when President Weah came to power. When he started demolishing his national residence and constructing homes. People said, oh, the whole while you're playing football, he didn't demolish his house, he didn't build homes. But after taking the presidency, he started building. Who knows what the president had his monies, he used to demolish or rebuild it, whether he had the monies and save it. Maybe it's a matter of coincidence. So it's difficult to determine whether the money that we are using, the money in order to rebuild it, whether it was money or was public money. It's also difficult to determine whether the Labour Party is using public funds to pay for that headquarters, or using money that partisans and officials of government are contributed in terms of getting that.
Okay, let's go for Mr. George Kennedy.
So I was sitting home when we're in mainstream media. When I graduated from college, I was called and given a job. The people who called me, they gave me a job. I shouldn't support them. I shouldn't give them financial support behind the scene. Frankly, as I sit here, I don't even have to go campaign or whatsoever. But I'll be giving money to my home county, Lofa. I'll be giving money to Monserrato. And I'll be giving money to Bonnie. No matter the amount, right? Mm-hmm. I have to contribute. It's a moral obligation. And I will intentionally use mobile money so that when the record will show, right, mm-hmm. that I did. How many people that may not even be partisans, but got some level of help in terms of good job, that like me outside there, that may do even more than what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. So that's why Mr. Tagba is saying, we can conclude. Because I can remember one time I sat down and I take $180 to contribute to someone I need to pay for someone office somewhere on my own as a person. So don't mind some of those things that people talk. But I will come at some program, we show them that people will be.
You can rule out the possibility anyway.
You can rule anything out. But other people are also equally taking it seriously. We get called me, but
they're affluent partisans.
Okay, let's hear from Moses. Moses, let's get your takeaway.
Okay, look, let me say this for my brother, Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Tagba.
Yeah, Moses.
You guys ever heard about what they call lifestyle audit?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Why not?
Lifestyle audit is if Mr. Sandy could not afford to pay $25 as a rent, and Mr. Sandy was hired today as a janitor, and now after 3 months, they realized that Mr. Sandy drives a vehicle that costs $100,000. Why you think people will begin to think, but where did they man take the money from? That is when people begin to look at your life, do the comparison, and then do the audit. Where is this extra money coming from? Like Saba said, we all know that this is public information. This political party was extremely broke, evicted. It took Stanton Witherspoon, the convicted fellow in the United States, to save the Unity Party. This guy sent $60,000 US to save the Unity Party in less than 2 years. You're talking about building party headquarters across the nation. Let's do a lifestyle audit. Where is this money coming from? You have all this money. You have all this money. Why? Why didn't you save yourself? You have to take a fellow to save you. I mean, come on, man. Let's be serious here.
Let me tell Mr. Sandy.
Come in.
Mr. Sandy, that's we call it whack allegation when you say that Stanton, the one that saved Unity Party. Do you know what Moda and other people did here?
No, Mr. Kennedy, I don't want to cut you off, my brother, but this is public information. The man himself said it publicly.
So the man said it. Well, what did the Unity Party people say about his comments? So let's look at it. Thank God that all of us come from a journalistic background. So Stanton is a credible person. You already render him a convicted felon. So are you not believing a convicted felon that he spent $60?
Let me tell you, maybe you don't know social media. Let me tell you something quickly. And I don't mean to be condescending to the president. When Mr. Walker was a candidate, Henry Costa, Stanton Witherspoon, they raised money to take care of then Kennedy Joseph Yuma Walker. This guy displayed text messages, WhatsApp messages, the disbursement. Henry Costa did the same thing. The Unity Party has never come to disclaim any of those or publications. What are you talking about?
So it is going down to then candidate Joseph Walker is not about headquarters again. So let's discuss it, right? So you said
no. What I was saying is that
okay.
I said let us do a lifestyle audit. If you were broke before, you could not afford $25 to pay a rent. In less than 2 years, now you drive a vehicle that costs $100,000. The question that comes, where did you get the money from?
Okay, now, until I answer that question, you can conclude that I've stolen the money to buy that car. There's a possibility that after I've got that janitorial job, and I'm making $200 that cannot afford, that cannot even buy a car. Why in a position? Why if family people say, "Mama, the job you do, you need a car, so we buy your car." So you talk about audit. Until we can do an audit of the government, then we can look at determination whether the monies are used to buy the headquarters. I mean, let's be fair. Let's look at it. Let's look at it from a journalistic perspective. Yes.
Mr. Clark, is the same. You and I are saying the same.
It's an assumption.
I am not saying that the Unity Party stole money. I'm simply saying let's do a lifestyle audit. I am not saying that the party has stolen. I'm not saying that the party is broke. I'm saying where did you come from, where you are? The public will want to know where your money came from. That's what I'm saying.
Unfortunately, Moses David Tagler is not a partisan of the Union. Maybe Kennedy is. Maybe Kennedy can speak for the Union.
No, when I use the word "you," I'm not making reference to David Tagler or Mr. Kennedy. I'm speaking collectively.
Yes.
So Kennedy is a partisan of the Union.
The truth is, some of us just telling you what we've been doing behind the scene. And we still to do more.
When you started doing what you did, talk about what we did 2 years ago.
More than 2 years ago. He's telling her.
You sound so interesting.
They say that our barrels are putting the rescue tree. How they call it?
What? You know, there's so many things involved. Who knows even whether the Union Party say owns a person who owns a person?
No, I don't know.
We don't even know.
Okay, so then let's try to transition quickly. We did a few calls. Let's try to transition quickly. Talking about this issue about social media. We want to figure out tonight. We want to ask whether in our country the social media is being used for the purpose intended, or it's being abused? Because often we see a lot on social media to the extent somebody wants to bully another person, he uses social media. Now let's first establish, why was the social media created? Why was it invented? Let's try to establish that, David.
I mean, social media was established, from my better knowledge, it was established, first of all, to connect with friends, to communicate, to create contents, even to make money, to monetize your contents. Even though I understand Liberia is not on the list of countries that social media is monetized, where people make money out of social media, Liberia is not part of that list. I understand. The last time I heard, somebody from the Liberia Telecommunication Authority that they're making frantic efforts to ensure that in Liberia make money out of social media. But social media, I mean, it's about making connections, I mean, showcasing, maybe even doing marketing on social media, connecting with friends, expressing your views, opinions on wide range of issues, national, international issues. I mean, friends that you haven't seen for quite a long time, they see it on social media, they get you, they get connected to you. And I mean, but whether it is being abused in Liberia right now, I don't know, it's a difficult question, because the same way Liberians use social media, similarly to how Ghanaians use social media, similarly to how Gambians or Guineans use social media, how even the Moses Sandy people that in America, how Americans use social media, they use social media to express their views, their aspirations. I mean, communicate with friends. I mean, that's all about social media. Yes, if we're talking about abuse, maybe somebody has a different interpretation of what you call abuse. I don't know what sort of interpretation of abuse, something was prompted that question or that topic. Okay, is there something that you see?
Okay, let's hear from Kenneth.
You said all the positive sides of the social media. They also have the negative side. They also have the negative side, which can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
It can be used against you to exploit you, to dupe you, to lure you into a lot of criminal activities.
Yes, of course.
So in Liberia, this modern age, most of the people that use social media, a good number of them I see.
Coming to a point.
Yes, sir.
So the question is it being abused in Liberia?
Yeah, that's
most of the trickery I see on social media are really done by people outside of Liberia.
Even here in Liberia is done, yes, but good number come from outside. So here, what we're doing with social media, instead of us using it to actually benefit us, professionally, we're misusing it.
For example,
just last night, people showing their nude body and other people. The society that we see, the Western society, those things are very simple there. In our cultural society on the side, we just see a nude photo of women. So now you go. Yesterday, rather street here last night on the main road, Orange had a program there. Maybe somebody has seen the video that came from there from a very responsible woman. In fact, she's begging people to take it down. She's begging all around people to take it down. Those things, they're not good. And for journalistic purpose, even some of our media colleagues, the same way we report professionally when going to our newsroom, when you're doing live broadcasts, go professional. Say that what we saw about the vice president is the story that we're just talking about. You knew that person wasn't working with the vice president. But you directly, intentionally, because you're going live, the whole world looking at what you're doing, you just decide to implicate the person.
It's an abuse of social media.
It's an abuse of social media.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's very good.
I agree with you now.
So if we are to induce some of our culture that really calls for due respect for everybody, including the elderly, the young people, this and that, into the social media practices, seriously, people going to admire us, we're going to use it positively, but we're forgetting about our cultural environment and try to induce the Western cultural system in our
So if you bring culture, business, or tradition in the social media, which is a global platform, then we shouldn't use it in Liberia because a global platform.
Yeah, it's true, but Mr. Kabe, those people showcasing their way of life from their side. We should show our way of life from our side. That cross-cultural orientation, you will get to understand that they will be enjoying ours. So even though these people are they're using our platform, they're using the social media, but see how they look.
Let's assume two females, kissing and displayed on social media, or two males kissing. It's against our culture.
Yeah, but then we enjoy it.
They enjoy it.
But do you have control over that, sir?
But it shouldn't be used. I mean,
So that it shouldn't be that people do it on social media. I mean, it's very rare for me to see such
which is
things on social
culturally wrong.
It's culturally wrong in our society.
In our society.
So if it is culturally wrong in our society, what decision does the government take? So what step does the government take to forbid, to stop that? So basically, can government control?
Just coming quick.
Okay, Amos is coming.
Mr. Sandika.
Let me just say this. As a student of communication, the fundamental reason for social media is basically mass communication to make the world a global village. Social media, like any media outlet, has its own strengths and weaknesses, has limitations, has challenges, and has significant traits, positive traits as well. I can stay very. How you think I track everything in Liberia? It's through social media.
Sure.
I sit right in my office and get educated about everything you guys do in Liberia. Social media. That's the good side about it. The downside about it, there are other people who use social media for their own intended purpose. Like you guys said, if you are using the media, social media, to incite chaos, to misrepresent the truth, that's abuse of social media. Social media is supposed to make the world a global village where you can stay in Liberia and know about what is happening in London, where you can keep in touch with your family. Yes, in terms of content, it is very difficult because of the diversity in culture. It is common here in the United States to see two gentlemen kissing. In Liberia, it is unusual because that's not part of your culture. But don't forget, it is a culture shock in our country. But don't forget, now we are part of the global society. This is being transitioned all over the world. In Liberia right now, don't you have churches that have adopted that here? Our philosophy now will be what? Marriage is considered to be what? Between two consenting adults. As per our culture, marriage is defined as what? A relationship between a man and a woman.
Oh, yeah.
But the Methodist Church has given a different interpretation to that. They say it's two consenting adults. So that's the kind of work we have today. That's what you see in social media. You know, it has been abused, and it also have a good side to it. Let's look at it in our broader context. That's what I would say, guys.
Okay, so the final question is it a way that through the whether it's possible, whether through the initial information or is there a way to prevent the abuse of social media?
That is likely impossible.
What makes it impossible?
Because the government does not control what social media. Except the government says social media is forbidden in Liberia, but the government does not have the.
No, if John Brown is using, is abusing it, John Brown can be called the order.
Restrictive action.
Okay, maybe that's the only way. But the government cannot stop you to stop anybody.
No, you can use it, but if you are abusing it,
Except if you are abusing it.
I don't even want the government to come in right now. Mm-hmm. I would prefer what we're doing right now. Educating, carrying on more awareness, education of our people of the good and bad of the social media, the do's and don'ts in Liberia, according to our own cultural system. So these type of things, if really people can take this type of message across the country, radio.
sits on social media and uses invectives. Spew lies and innuendos against David Tagwe. Can it not be?
That's an abuse.
It can be prevented.
How do you prevent that?
By taking issue with the individual.
Yeah, very good. If David Tagwe sues or files a lawsuit against a person to deter him from doing that next time. If John Brown, the next day, files a lawsuit against another person, and people start suing people for what they said or what they do on social media.
Guess what?
It comes back to our rule of
law. Because whenever you sue for such, it will be the state person, that person. Then the government take the person to court. That's the kind of understanding we are. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, first we do the education first before the state can step in. For me, that's how I look at it. But the state need to get involved in educating, in empowering the media to educate the public about this. Look, we can do better with social media. You see the Nigerians, most of the time, yes, they got some criminals there that do a lot of things, but most of the time they use their culture. They use their culture on the social media. You see them performing, you see them doing a lot of things that highlights their culture.
Their culture, yeah.
But here,
so they attract the global, they Okay, let's try to take a few calls.
Yeah, so Saba.
Yeah, let me announce it first.
Yeah,
Moses, let me announce the number. Moses, now you can come in. 0778 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Better so 0886-050507. 0886-050507. The alternative line is 0776 540-987. 0776-540-987. That's the alternative line, or just go to the studio line 0778-460-793. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call, and we're live. Yes, Moses.
Yeah, so what I was saying, Saba, you see, this is where the role of the Ministry of Information, the LTA, and the others will really come into place. Like Mr. Tagwe and Mr. Kennedy said, it is very difficult to regulate, but what we can do as a country is more education. More education, talking about the negativity.
Please, Moses, hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. Let me talk to this. 1 minute, Moses. Let me talk to you caller quickly.
Sure.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Saba.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
This is Mr. Bowa, a 75 years old man speaking.
Wow. Okay, let's hear from you. Let's hear from you.
Look, if really you're educated, look, I can tell you, from the day Togo died, that money, I look at the blood that we have fought, that it will still suffering from. The respect of 60, the respect of 50, 60, 70 is quite different now. I will appreciate people to even educate onto it. Because it has benefited this country, it's more like nothing but social negative media world we have here now. They did not educate people on a good side. And journalists, we are giving our need to educate us. It's too good. But right now, social media is all over there in this country. Where are we going in Liberia here?
I tell you.
You see your own father equal man, even I insult him. Your other brother, you insult him. You even done the mother. Is that how you want to do? When you gather me the money out there, you say, Uncle, good morning, sir. Good morning. You take your bucket, you go to fire water and come back. You will do everything before you go to school. 7 times you must be in school. There's no nonsense in Liberia yet. It's where you're really trying to educate us.
Okay.
Being less small. They're small, so always get up. The great silent nation, they can educate us. I can say, but one spoon for now, other spoon or something that can educate us when we leave from there, we go anywhere, do all right. But so negative war, embarrassing that Liberia country.
Thank you.
And people are enjoying it because they don't know the value of themselves. You see the
those days, one can commit a crime or commit even suppress an entire group of people and will move past. But now, I can see right in my community, something happening, because you make up your mind, somebody you see it, you keep watching it live. This is another significant that social media is playing, now to society. But another bad thing is that, like someone said, we should use social media to inform the world about culture like the Nigerian would do. I think our culture in Liberia is corruption, and we should be continually using social media to inform the outside world. But government consistently, especially the current government, is not coming down on corruption. The president has refused to tell us who's building. In fact, the entire government has refused to speak on the issue of who's building the president. In something. Yeah, this position was so very big on the spot for us to say that.
Okay.
These things we must communicate to the outside world. Using it for buying people to future women, that's I do not support and to vehemently oppose.
Okay. All right, many thanks. Let me just go to the line quickly. Good evening. Let's
call you from Crown Hill Community on Broad Street.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Yeah, let me just make some point here, especially when it comes to the issue about Unity Party getting a new headquarters to their old headquarters where they reside formerly, where they were taking before. And I don't want for people to use this as an excuse that Unity Party was told when they were in opposition, or maybe the form of the Senate Bureau or current President Boakai was broken. Israel can check off our back. This was Jim Boakai or President Boakai when he was in opposition. He donated a ferry to that of Basso and the ancestor city, I think to be corrected. He donated a ferry that cost less than $1 million. There was a Boakai that people said he was broke. So if he has the opportunity through a humanitarian organization and donated his ferry, I think Boakai, these are just gossip around that were just going around. Someone can be living on loan, but they are not broke. I think it was this contextual about someone living on loan compared to someone being broke.
Okay.
So there were a lot of things. He did a lot of donation. We can fact check these things. So when he did these things when he was in opposition, he said things to do more. Because when you check the Unity Party, the issue of the Unity Party headquarters, let's be sincere now. It wasn't that Unity Party was not affording to pay the rent. The rent was by far, high, extended. Looking at it, taking something for quote unquote adding up to 60% of renting and real on the renting you pay someone to see it as a waste. And so your party needed funding at that time to sponsor your campaign. So you didn't expect anybody to take a huge amount of money to put into a political party.
Okay, all right.
Into a headquarters. Why are they going to use the wrong campaign with?
Okay, you make a point already. You make a point. Keep on the line continuously. 07784600793 or better still 0886-050507, 0886-050507 or the alternative line 0776540-987. Yeah, Moses can come in. Moses?
Yes, I'm here. You know,
Okay.
so basically, what I was saying is that the LTA, the Ministry of Information, the Liberia Broadcasting System, what they can do, you know, design programs where, you know, experts can appear and really help to educate about the strengths and the weaknesses of social media. Some of the cultural practices, bring people to talk about them, why it is not appropriate for people to be nude on social media, why social media should not be used as a medium for incitement. I mean, provide the literacy, because most of our people don't know. And if we can try to take time to even do this in our vernacular, that would be very helpful.
Sure, yeah.
That's what we can do as a country.
Okay, all right. So time has called over us. We have to quickly go around the table to give our part and comment on the issues that we've been talking about. We've been looking at the status of the production sharing contract between the government of Liberia and the Rental Petroleum. We put a shake-up at the RIA as the Roberts International Airport. The issue of Unity Party campaign, Unity Party cleanup exercise, and then the issue of the social media. Let's begin with you, George Kennedy, quickly. Your party comments and all those issues.
Thank you. I want to tell the callers thank you. And just to say that the Toronto issue before the legislature, you have the right to do the right thing to that particular deal. If it is not correct, you can send it back to the executive to do the necessary correction and work with them. That's why they say separate branches but coordinating. You can work together to see how you can insert why it is there to make sure that the right things are done. Okay. Social media, look, social media is a blessing, but we shouldn't make it a curse in Liberia. We should use it for the good of our country instead of the bad side. You can use it to promote your business. Where in Bonkante, in Nimba, in Lofa, anywhere, sort of showing nude photos, insulting people, doing other things. Yes, I think we should use it for the general good to promote our culture. I would say thank you and good night to everyone here.
Okay, Moses, let's hear your party.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much. It was a great show. It was good connecting with every one of you. And Mr. Tagwe, it was good hearing from you after many years. Josh, thank you for the show. And Mr. Soba, yourself too. And our technical crew, I want to express gratitude. The callers, the listeners, I want to say thank you. And that is what we do here in the nighttime. And we look forward to coming back again. Thank you.
Okay, Moses. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for me, I know that the president has the audacity to implore and dismiss or suspend. But most especially when it comes to suspension or dismissals and sober, it really will cause for some amendments to be made in the Constitution for the president, or will allow the public to know, not necessarily President Walker, any other president. If you appoint someone judge as Minister of Information, if someone judge is suspended as Minister of Information or dismissed, the public must have the right to know why someone is dismissed or suspended. And then suspended somebody and say for administrative reason, at least the public can suspend, and it leaves room for insinuations and even lies that, maybe he stole. Maybe, a person's reputation is his wealth. If it is stated by the executive mansion that David Taggart, as first secretary to the president, is dismissed or suspended, David Taggart is suspended because he stole the president's food. The reason will be given.
Okay.
Another thing is that if you give him a piece of job to go and serve, for instance, the example that I'm alluding to the situation at RI. The first thing the president, some of them must have recommended you, or the president knows him personally. So this guy is qualified to serve as managing director of the Ramos International Airport. You go in there, go with the mindset of transforming the airport for the betterment. Don't go there with a mindset of, okay, this guy, about 5-10 years ago, he disrespected me. Now that I have the chance to go there as head, I'm going to dismiss him. Don't go with a mindset of crushing people. You go with a mindset of dismissing people instead of going there to build and improve the system. You're going there with the mindset of getting rid of people that, maybe you want to bring your own people. That's absolutely wrong. Now, I don't think you said that. I say a clap for you for that one.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for your participation tonight. Join us again, listeners, for another edition of the nighttime unity. Let me reference some of our viewers. Vinicius Jinaba, he's been watching from Local Town. Henry T. Toad, Jimo from Cornwall. Moses Farah, he's been watching from Local County. Victor Mulder from Freeport. Ophir George from Home. Rick York, Davidson from where? Harris Gatter from Bill Community. Bill Boy, who passed away from the USA. Amos War from the USA. We can call everyone, we can reference everyone, but thank you for watching the show. Join us as next, that is coming Wednesday, for another edition of the program. Until then, have a restful night. Sabo George is my name.